social media is one of the most cost-effective ways that you can make your business and your brand known to your ideal clients. When you know who it is that you're talking to, it makes it really easy to create content just for them. Let's be honest, we're all spending at least some time on social media. What if you used it to actually grow your business?
Episode 373 of this podcast, we are talking about the importance of intentional content creation. We're also covering the value of community building so that you're not stuck posting all of the time, that your life doesn't have to become part-time social media manager. And then we get a mini masterclass on Katie's 4-post strategy that's designed to engage viewers and to convert people into buyers. Lots of goodness in this episode. Super glad that you're here. What is up, friend? I am Ryan Coral from Studio Sherpas, and this is the Grow Your Video Business Podcast. This is the show where we share things on running a better video production business, more efficient, how to be more profitable, how to get new clients, how to serve our clients well, all of the things that you need to build something that is sustainable. That is my hope for you, that you can build a sustainable business and do this for a long time, as long as your heart's desire to your heart's content, all of those things. If you are new here, I have a workshop called the 6-Figure Filmmaker Workshop, and this is where I've jam-packed as much as I can into 45 minutes of teaching to help you create some efficiencies and to help you focus on some things that you might consider as you are trying to scale your video business. You can get access to that workshop totally for free at studiosherpas.com/workshop. We've been talking about social media. I continue to talk about it more and more. I've gone from somebody who's like, that is a huge waste of time, to somebody that's like really valuing the importance of social media. And then also, as I think about our ideal clients should be doing video and should be posting their videos on their social feeds. And if we're not doing it and valuing it and getting a return on that, then how can those conversations go when we're telling our clients, hey, you should have these kinds of videos and you should be doing it? And they might look at us and say, well, why aren't you doing it? You're telling me I should be doing this. So I've kind of had this like 180. I've changed my tune and my direction on what I think is really the importance of social media and having a process for yourself. But I think in doing that, I think the benefits are really, really strong in helping you find new clients, but also making it easier to sell the importance of video content for social content strategies with your clients. So super glad you're here. Let's get into today's episode. What's up, friends? Welcome to another episode of the show. I'm Ryan Coral, your host. I can't talk. I am your host, Ryan Coral. We're full of outtakes thus far. Katie Brinkley is my guest today. I cannot talk. Katie is the CEO of Next Step Social. I promise this is not my first interview or episode. Katie, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be a part of this. And man, thanks for bearing with me as I struggled with lighting and video. It's like I should hire a video person to come and help me with my video setup.
Let's just say you got some free consultation already. Let's see if that leads to, something else. So we can talk about that later. Let's elephant in the room. I don't know if this is the right saying. You just released your first book ever. Massive congratulations. Can you tell us The Social Shift? What are we looking at here? What is this book all about?
Yeah, so The Social Shift is my first book. It just came out, and
Woo-hoo!
it was a lot of work, but man, once it's done, it's really it's almost kind of like a drug. It's like, God, I got to do that again. So I'm already kind of thinking about what my next book could be. But The Social Shift is the road back to community. And it tells the story of how social media started, how we were originally using it, and how we've gotten away from that. How
Mm,
now we're basically walking around with little Netflix in our pocket, opening up TikTok, Facebook, Instagram is no different than turning on the TV.
mm,
We're showing up and we're consuming. And that's not what social media was intended for. And we have to be more intentional with our time. We have to be more intentional with the content we're pushing out and focus on building a community around our businesses and our brands. And when you do that, you don't need to post so much. You can actually show up less and you can get more business.
mm. Yeah, showing up less and getting more business. That's a magic formula. And I want to challenge you with like teaching us all the things so that we can do exactly that. So I'm just gonna say I love this idea of community. And I noticed in your bio, I saw the word MySpace and I'm like, oh, Katie, you and I, we're both old. Like, I'm just gonna say it for
You are.
you because I might have you by a year or two, but
So
it's
I'm a
amazing.
geriatric millennial. That is
Geriatric
the
millennial.
that is the actual official term for my age range. I believe
Okay.
it's anyone 1978 to 1984.
So I was born in 77. So I
Oh, see,
actually am I fit in the Gen X barely, barely.
barely. Yeah, so I'm the geriatric millennial, which I
That's
actually, when I first
amazing.
heard it, I was like, "Come on, really?" But you and I are fortunate enough that we understood the importance of computers.
Yeah.
My very first email was an at AOL account.
Oh yeah.
I grew up typing DOS commands
Oh
to
yeah.
play Lemmings and Wolfenstein on the
Over
computer.
on your C drive, maybe your D drive if you guys were kind of rich,
I
you know?
Oh, well, and I was actually talking to a real millennial, and he didn't know why they were called floppy disks, and I was like, "Well, there was 2 different types of disks. There was a
Yep,
hard
yep.
disk, and then there was the floppy one that was about the size of a CD case." He's like, "Wait, they were actually floppy?" And I was like,
They're-
"Yep."
oh yeah. They were real creative when they came up with the name. Was what it was. Um, so anyway, that's fun. I think we probably both come from a time when community was something that you kind of had to work toward. Where today, like I think true, authentic, life giving, the best kind of community, you still got to kind of work for that. But we have access to all sorts of communities. I love the angle of what you are helping us understand the importance of that, whatever social media, it's going to take on whatever form, people kind of just say like, this is how we want to use it. But so long as there are people like you out there fighting for, no, there is such thing as like real authentic community that can help you get your message out there and can help change people's lives. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It it's a soapbox that I was a little afraid to step onto at first because I have a social media agency.
yeah,
And I was like, what am I doing if I'm telling people not to post so much on social
right.
media? What am I doing to my business? But it is a strategy that everything that we do, we try first through me and my accounts. And if it works, then we pass it down to our clients. And we're seeing results.
Yeah.
I recently went and did a training for a business, and some of their employees afterwards, they were saying they saw an 1,100 increase in reach and a 250% increase in engagement.
Mm,
And these are people that realized social media is important for your business, but they didn't have the right framework. It makes me happy to I hopefully I'm giving people back their time
mm,
so that they can focus on the other aspects of their business.
yeah.
I have a social media agency, but I'm a business owner first. I
Right.
Creating content as a business owner is very different than creating content as an influencer.
Yeah.
And you have to know the difference between the two.
That's great. I want you to talk about the difference about those two. And I'll also say that it sounds like one of my takeaways here is that you can show up and you can post and, fill all of your time with posting, But in order to be able to post less and have better results, it really, I mean, it comes down to strategy. You mentioned the word framework. And so I'm imagining that if you have the right kind of strategy, the right kind of framework, then yeah, it works. So tell us more
Mhm.
about it.
Well, and I know that, the majority of the people that are watching and listening to this show, are business owners, but video business owners. And man, if you're in video, you have got uh, the the world is your oyster because video right now is king. But at the same time, not everyone consumes only video. And this is where understanding your audience is extremely important. You have to know who is following you on certain platforms, who's engaging with you on these platforms so that you can create the content specifically for them. And this it all comes back to intention. What's the intention behind this post? What's the intention behind this video? What's the intention behind this podcast? And when you know all of that, it makes it so much easier to create the content that
Yeah.
your audience wants to consume. They look for you in their feed. I haven't seen the post from Ryan yet. I have, where typically I haven't seen anything from him for a while. What's he up to? Has he posted? So you build out your community of your biggest fans.
So how does somebody go from, man, I love having this show because, we're 360 or some odd episodes in. So it's like 7 or 8 years in the
Congratulations.
making. Thank you. But my view on things has changed so much over the years. And, for the longest time, I was like, I built a 7-figure video production business without a social media presence. Not totally true, because when we were in the wedding world, we had a pretty good social following, but then we
Yeah.
transitioned, built a brand new brand, new name, new website, and went all in on corporate video storytelling. We did get a lot of referrals from that work of posting and building relationships, whatever. But for the longest time, I was like, no, we're not. We tried social media. We tried the same strategy that we did with brides, and it didn't work with CEOs or CMOs, right? There are some
Mhm.
people that were like, oh, I love your wedding films, but couldn't equate like how that could work for their business. So, for the longest time, I'm like, you don't need to do it. Now, there's a different drum that I'm beating. It's like, if you want like to work with ideal clients and on better projects, and you want to charge more money, you've got to become an expert. And one way to do that is to show up and to teach and to share and to, share the narrative that you think is so important, versus just waiting for people to call you and hope that they
Yeah.
find your website and hope that they can figure out what you're all about or what they need based on what they're seeing you have on your portfolio page. But like, you can go a step further and say like, no, these are the 3 videos that every business needs. If you're not doing this or this, like as soon as you say that, people are going to be like, they're going to stop and listen and be like,
Yeah.
do I agree with this? Do I have those? And if not, and if I do agree, but I don't have those, then maybe I should have a conversation with this guy. Otherwise, what you're going to be up against is waiting for somebody, in on the communications team or marketing team or whatever to realize like, oh, we need an updated brand video, or we've got an event coming up. Let's Google video production people. We find them, we interview them, and we go with the person that we kind of like the best. But if you can educate people and say like, hey, you could do an event video, but based on what your goals are as a brand, as a company, that's not going to help you. I mean, sure, like let's spend
Mhm.
$30,000 and do a sweet event video for you. But have you thought about X? Have you thought about Y? So I say all that just to say like my, you're on the show because I believe in the power of what social media can do for you. But I also think that if you're not doing it strategically, you're going to want to pull your hair out. It's not going to feel like it's working. It's not worth doing.
Exactly. And, I come from corporate marketing. Social media was one of my jobs at the TV station. So I used to be the marketing manager for the Colorado Rockies TV station. And one of my duties was social media. Another one was script writing for commercials. And then another one was media buys. I know how much it costs to pay for a commercial, to buy a billboard, to buy a newspaper ad. And social media is one of the most cost-effective ways that you can
Mm,
make your business and your brand known to your ideal clients more than anything else. Like with a billboard,
that's good.
you're just hoping that as many people drive by as possible, and hopefully your ideal client drives by. With social media, and we're not even talking about paid social media. I'm talking about organic social media.
Yeah.
You can get in front of your ideal client and customer consistently on social media for really just the cost of your time. And I say that because time is really our most precious asset.
Right.
But you don't need to post. I think this is where we've gotten into one of the things about the pandemic. One, it was terrible for so many people, but two, we were opened up to unlimited time, and gave these apps like TikTok, like Clubhouse. Remember Clubhouse?
Oh my gosh.
The
Yeah.
never-ending conference call that we all just couldn't get off of. I mean, we gave our so much of our time to these apps that now that the world has opened up, a lot of these apps are still expecting, oh, well, you need to post more. You need to post more. You're not seeing results on social media. Well, are you doing one reel, at least one reel a day? And then you have to do 30 days of Facebook lives. And it's like, for crying out loud, I've got a business to run.
Right. Right.
Like I can't spend all day on social media. Like I'm there. Yeah, it's important, but I got things to do. So how can you
There's
show up
the actual
effectively?
work of what we do.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that it all comes back to intention. And yes, social media is one of the best tools out there to grow your business and your brand. And you have to know, who are you creating the content for? You have to show up, and like a lot of people say, be giving it all away. But if you're giving it all away on social media, man, you have got some really big fans. The people that see all your posts, that you're giving all your information away, they're your biggest fans. They're learning from you. They're talking about you. Don't worry about, giving it all away for free, because the right people are seeing your content and they're going to say, man, if they're doing this, if they're telling me all this stuff, what's it like to work with them? What's it like to have them on my team? What's it like to hire this person? So show up and give value.
Yeah, I love that. So where do you recommend somebody that already feels incredibly strapped for time? I mean,
Yeah.
let's just talk about for a second all of my love for all of my video people. The amount of time that goes into planning, shooting, editing,
Hmm.
revisions, delivering, figuring out where we're going to post this, and do we have to, write copy to go along with the post, and just for a client or for ourselves, like the process. Whew, especially if we care what something looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, if we care about those things, which unfortunately a lot of us do. And so we
Hmm.
can't just put out a crappy looking video, even if it's for our own social, because we're like, I want it to be with my real good camera and my real good lights and my good mics and all those things. So we're doing all this work for our clients, right? We're shooting, editing, planning, producing, maybe running workshops and doing all these things for our clients. So it's really, really, really difficult to find time to make anything for ourselves, to promote what we're doing, to promote our brand, and be out there socially.
Hmm.
What you're talking about, you're like, oh, I mean, I've got the keys to the kingdom where, you don't have to like constantly feel like you've got to keep showing up. So where do we start?
Yeah, and I think, so this is one of the things too, is this is not the strategy for everyone. Um, it depends on what your capacity is to remain consistent, uh, because consistency is the key. If you can consistently post every day, you can still do this strategy. If you want to post more than once a day, you can still use this strategy, this framework. The way that I designed it is so that if you want to do 4 posts a week, you're still going to see as much success as somebody that's posting every single day. And it's all based off of showing up on 1 to 2 platforms the way that the platform wants you to create content. And with the exception of TikTok, all of these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they value a variety of content other than video. So I say that, and I know that, majority of the people here are video people, but just keep in mind that not everyone is consuming only video. You have to be willing to show up a variety of ways so that you can connect with your audience the way that they best consume content. And your ideal customer, you have that amazing video. That's amazing. But maybe they don't watch a ton of videos, so the algorithm didn't even show your content to them. They do better with short captions, or they really like just a photo. You have to make sure you're checking all the boxes with these platforms in the way that the algorithm wants you to create content. So that'd be my first step, is figure out which platform you enjoy being on. So we'll just say, Brian, which is your favorite platform?
Personal, Instagram, work, LinkedIn.
Okay, so we'll do LinkedIn and Instagram. Those are your two platforms that you've decided to go all in on in 2024 for your business. And so the very first post that you want to do, very first thing before we even talk about posting, do you know who your ideal clients and customers are?
Yes.
Okay. Who is currently following you on Instagram? So for me on Instagram, I know that 62% of my audience are females ages 35 to 44. Right now, Ryan's running over to check his Instagram insight. But I mean, this is my day job. So, I mean, I'm checking this stuff regularly. But so do you know who your audience currently is over on Instagram?
On Instagram, I have zero idea. I think I've got like family, friends, some work people. We're all over the place.
Okay,
because I don't create content. Like it's my Instagram my personal Instagram really is just like family photos and
okay,
here now stories.
Well, so and with this, and I'm hopefully if you're listening to the podcast right now while you're driving, when you're done, like at a stoplight, pull it up and look at your insights just to see who it is that's currently following you on each platform.
I don't even know where to look. I'm trying.
Okay, so if you click in the lower right hand corner and open up your profile, and then it should open up and you can see the insights. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you click on audience. It'll be like the fourth one down.
I've got accounts,
and then if you scroll,
engaged.
Yeah. So I love it. We're doing a walkthrough of this together. Yep. And then professional dashboard, and then it'll say total followers, and you click on the followers. And I like to make it from the past, like 90 days, just to see who your most recent follower trend is. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and actually, for the past 90 days, my audience is 62% women. Ages 35 to 44. That's 33% of my audience. And then 20% is 25 to 34. So I got a lot of ladies following me. Probably a lot of them are around my same, probably have kids. So that's one thing for me to recognize as to who I'm talking to with these posts. On LinkedIn, I know it doesn't show you the sex demographic, but I know that majority of my audience are founders and C-suite executives from Denver, followed by New York, and then Sacramento. So I know this about who I'm talking to. It's really important to understand that, because as you tailor your content, I understand it is so easy to just hit a toggle with these different social media schedulers, whether you're using Metricool, which I recommend is Metricool, or Agorapulse, or Flick, whatever it is. If you're using a scheduler, I get it. All you got to do is just click the little button. But what I'm saying to my audience on Instagram, which is mostly probably moms with kids at home that are starting their business, entrepreneurs, it's going to be a different messaging than these C-suite executives on, LinkedIn. So I'm not saying you have to post completely different content between these two mediums. You can still share the same video. You're just going to shift the narrative enough so that hey, on Instagram, I'm talking to this person. On LinkedIn, I'm talking to this one. It doesn't mean that, oh, well, now all these men on Instagram aren't going to follow me. I just know that I'm going to be talking I've named my avatar on Instagram exactly to Sarah. And Sarah has 2 kids, ages 12 and under. She's, I know so much about Sarah. She's my invisible best friend on Instagram. Over on LinkedIn, I'm talking to Eric, who has 10 employees. When you know who it is that you're talking to, it makes it really easy to create content just for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good nugget. Like, although as we're even talking here, there's your current audience. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my Instagram and I'm like, I'm going to really double down on my personal brand this year. So that the
Right.
audience is going to change. And then on LinkedIn, I'm like, well, I'm talking to a lot of founders and all these different people, but we're niching down and we're trying to work more in higher ed. So I don't want to be creating content necessarily for founders. I really want to be trying to catch the attention of people that are in higher ed.
That is a phenomenal spot to be in. And I got really excited. So for people that are watching this, I think that you probably could see me visibly like, I have so many ideas. But so this is where, for your personal brand, and we haven't even gotten into the 4-post strategy yet, but this is where it's so important to be having those conversations. So personally, so I'm going to share a little personal story with you. I grew up playing sports. I did all the sports. I played collegiate softball. I've been active my whole life. And in November of 2022, I threw my back out. I just turned 40, but I'm 39 years old, and I threw my back out. I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain, and it put me into a depression because I couldn't exercise anymore. I couldn't be active. And I wanted to, it had been such a big part of my life. I couldn't be active anymore. I knew I needed to work out to make my back stronger, but I was afraid of hurting my back again. And I was in this terrible cycle.
Yeah.
March of 23 comes around. I had just finished my very first virtual summit. Great success, great turnout. It was everything I could have dreamed of and more, but I was extremely depressed and I was burnt out. I couldn't bring myself to post on social media. And I share this because I wasn't posting, I was depressed, but I was still showing up. And what I mean is I was spending 10 minutes a day on Instagram, 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn, and I was engaging with the people I wanted to do business with. So I would alternate my days. On Mondays, I would engage with my power partners' posts. I'm not sending DMs. The cold DM strategy, I don't know who it's working for or who said this is a fantastic strategy, but I've yet to ever see it work. I showed up in these people's posts that I wanted to have as power partners, and I commented valuable comments. And then the next day, I went into the hashtag Denver business owner. I engaged with their post for 10 minutes. Then the next day I went back to the feed, engaged with my current followers. Let's be honest, we're all spending at least some time on social media. What if you used it to actually grow your business? Yeah. What if you used it to be showing up in front of your target audience time and time again? And that's how you change who's following you. That's how you fix your own algorithm. So that way, okay, well, Ryan, you want to be working with higher ed people. Every Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to go on in to your second connections of, let's say you're connected to somebody at the University of California, Davis. And you go into your second connections, see if anyone's done any posts, and you engage on their posts. That's how you're going to fix your algorithm. You're going to fix your followers. And March of 23, like I said, I did 3 posts for the whole month, and it was one of our best sales months ever because I was getting in front of my target audience and I was making connections.
Wow. You know what's amazing about this is I would even argue that if you did this strategy 2 days a week, showed up, like, comment, like thoughtful comment, not just a bot comment, with your, the people that you want to be working with, if that's all you did, that would be enough to grow your business. You don't have to have a posting strategy, right? Definitely, it can help. It can help accelerate. But for the person out there that's just feeling like, oh, I can't think of the idea to post, or I'm a perfectionist like Ryan and I want my video to look amazing, so like I just get stuck and I don't ever do it. Well, guess what? You could literally take what you just gave us, show up 1 day a week, 10 minutes, start connecting, start liking, start commenting, public, no DM, just straight up. That strategy has worked. I've had people who have friended me because I'm engaging in their stuff, or people that have finally accepted my friend request on LinkedIn because I'm like commenting and thoughtful, stuff. I think that's a potential game changer. Can we finish this so I can like go spend some time on LinkedIn? I'm ready. I'm just kidding. Half kidding.
No. I think that, maybe if you get anything from this podcast, like I said, we haven't even gotten into the strategy that I recommend, but I really want everyone to just be more intentional with their time, because your time is so valuable. And Ryan, you and we were talking about, we met at Social Media Week Lima a few years ago, and I was like, oh well, I went last year, but you're like, oh well, we were camping, and when you said you were camping, I loved that, because you could have gone and spoken on stage, but you chose to go and spend time with the people that matter most, and that's the whole goal behind this. It makes me so sad to see teenagers these days, as I put on my geriatric millennial hat, sitting in a circle at the park, all staring at their phones. They're not even talking to each other, and that's not a world that I want my kids to grow up in and to be a part of. So, and I have a social media agency. Social media is awesome. I love it, but I don't like what it's turning us into, is to always disconnecting from what's happening in real life. So be intentional with your time on these apps, and don't spend so much time on them. Be intentional, create value, and get out and create opportunities like what Ryan, I guess we're technically in front of a screen right now, but opportunities where you can connect with someone on a deeper level in real life. So
I love that. So good. Seriously, so rich. And I love that you own a social media agency, and you're also not saying you need to be showing up like all the time. If you spent, and we could even say, 10 minutes a week, but you were so intentional, you knew exactly what you needed to do in those 10 minutes. So you spend 4 hours this month figuring out, okay, who are my ideal people? How do I hop into LinkedIn and find these people? And how do I like add them maybe to a list or something, so that I can quickly, when I have my 10 minutes next week, I can go in and I can like read the article or the link and I can do the thing. So like that's the 10 minutes, but it's going to take a little bit of strategy on the front end. You can do that. Like, this is achievable, and it can literally be a very small, super focused. Here's what I'm not doing. I'm not, adding random friends and just like scrolling. Yeah. No, you are scrolling a specific type of people.
Goal in mind.
Yep. Yeah. So, okay. I'm fired up, maybe partially the coffee. I want to get to the 4 steps thing but I want to make sure there's nothing else. Yeah, that too, or that. But want to make sure there's nothing else that you wanted to add before we transition there.
No, I'm good on that. Just intention.
Yes. Love it. You've got my attention.
All right. So the 4-post strategy is hitting people. So, Ryan is going to go all in on Instagram and on LinkedIn in 2024. And this is the strategy I would recommend for Ryan if he was one of my current clients. So you're just using this podcast as an example. Ryan will post a poll to LinkedIn for his awareness. And he will do a poll of how many times a week do you post on social media? Once, 3 times, every day, not at all, answering comments or whatever. That's it. That's his post. It's just going to be a poll. It'll take him maybe, I'm going to be generous and say it'll take him 45 seconds.
I'm a fast typer, so 40 seconds.
Okay, 40 seconds to do this, to think of the concept and then hit publish. So, and then on Instagram, this is his chance to shine with video. He's going to do a reel. And he's going to say he can do a reel. Maybe it's him talking and saying, I'm just thinking off the seat of my pants here, so bear with me. You're the video guy, not me. But maybe he'll start like this. How often would you say you need to post on social media? Would it be once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week? Let me know in the comments how often you're posting to social. I mean, super easy. He's asking a question. People are like, oh, this is easy. I can answer that, whatever. Mm-hmm. He's made people now top of mind that posting on social media is something that I should be paying attention to. So these are your awareness posts. Think of this as your Forrest Gump on the Jenny, throwing the net over, trying to catch as many shrimp as possible. You could catch a tin can or a catfish, I don't care, but you're just trying to get as many eyes on your content as possible. You're making yourself aware to the algorithm. Your next post is going to be an elaboration post. And so for me, Monday is my awareness post, Tuesday is my elaboration post. On LinkedIn, I publish a newsletter. And in the newsletter, it could be, or an article, it can be, I'd say at least a minimum of 300 words. You could maybe taking this for this example here of how I take one video and turn it into a month's worth of content. And it explains your 10-step process as to how you take one video and turn it into a month's worth of content. You've been able to elaborate from the social media. How often are you posting? On Instagram, maybe you're doing a carousel, saying your 10 steps of what you do to repurpose a video. On Wednesday is your community building post. So we've done awareness, elaboration, now it's community building. These are my favorite posts. And all y'all video experts out there, you can go live. You could do a reel again on Instagram. I typically do a single image, so like just a picture. And this is where, again, knowing exactly who you're talking to is really important. So on Instagram, maybe it's a picture of me and my daughter skiing. And I'd say, if I'm just going off of your example, I guess if it was you, Ryan, let's say it's a picture of you camping, and it will say like, but you have my female audience. So how batching a month's worth of video content allowed me to go camping every summer for a week and not worry about making sure my audience sees my posts. And you can tell a story about, when you first started your business, you're recording live video every week and then trying to repurpose it. And you found yourself, now you've started your own business, so you weren't tied down. And here you were stuck to your computer and stuck to your video camera. But you had the opportunity to share your story. This is also a great time for you to share client testimonials and showcase some of your clients' best work of how you've been able to help them. That's Instagram and LinkedIn for once you can again, just tweaking based on who your audience is with the messaging. And then last but not least is the action post. If you notice, I never once asked people to click a link in my bio or, listen to a podcast or anything. Now is your opportunity to do that. And so you can, maybe it's a clip from this and you can pop on at the beginning and have a green screen in the background of this interview and say, we keep hearing that we need to be posting more on social media. But I had the opportunity to sit down with Katie Brinkley, and she talked all about posting with intention and honestly, not even posting at all to grow your business. Listen in this week's episode, and then you can play a clip of me, with my arms going everywhere, getting all excited, talking about this strategy. And you can clip that and say, comment podcast below, and I'll send you the link. You can, and maybe over on LinkedIn, it's sharing a clip of this or whatever. You've asked people to take action and leave social media to go one step further with you. And this strategy works because you've brought people along the customer journey that they didn't even know that they were on. You made them aware of the problem, how many times you post in a social. Here's how I'm an expert. I've elaborated on how I've overcome this, and here's my strategy and systems to doing it. Here's your community building post. I'm just like you. I was in this, or my client was in this, posting hamster wheel. And by the way, I went and sat down with the CEO of a social media agency that's actually telling you not to post so much. Don't you want to hear that episode? Right? You've brought people along, and you've got your ideal clients, your ideal customers, and a ready to buy, a ready to listen audience in front of you.
It's gold. It's so good. It's like instead of going from a place where I'm always like, oh, I've got a good post idea. I mean, if you saw my list of, oh, these are all good social post ideas, they're all one-offs. They don't play off of each other. But with this strategy, I mean, I could take all of those posts. I could take one of those posts and create 4 things, right? Like I could figure out what's an awareness post that I could create from this specific, and then what I wrote in my notes. This is the elaboration post, or this is the action post, or whatever. I love that format. How do you help people get out of their own head? Because I think once you have a good idea on we had this conversation. You should create a video on it.
No, that's that's the thing so you have all these great ideas, and this is, I mean, the people we're talking to today, you have a video camera, you have all these great ideas. Why not record a podcast on that idea? Why not record a video on that idea? And then you can take that, and now it's really it's your idea repurposed 4 different ways to make sure you bring people along the customer journey, and that you're ensuring that they see your content and they're ready to sign up. And it really just comes back to everyone that's listening to this show that has a video camera. You are light years ahead of business owners that don't have this in their wheelhouse. You're set up for success. You just need to take your ideas and then create the longer form. And when I say longer form, it doesn't need to be an hour. It could be 15 minutes. I do 2 episodes a week of my podcast, and one's 30 minutes and one is 10 minutes or less. The 10-minute or less episodes do way better. And it's all of those are ideas that I'm like, I should talk about this. And it's just because I'm long-winded that it turns into 10 minutes. But
yes, I can relate to that. I'll be I'm just gonna real quick. 40 minutes later, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that even happen? Why do I use all the words? Katie, this has been so good. I don't want to stop, but we probably should. Where can they get your book? How can they follow along with your agency, your personal, I know there are some women that listen to the show, but I'm sure you're fine with some guys following you on social too. So where can they find you?
Yeah. So katiebrinkley.com is where you can find all the things, my speaker sheet, and you can find the book there. I have a 4-post planner that's available there. So katiebrinkley.com. And if you want to get the book, The Social Shift, it's available now only at katiebrinkley.com/book. The audio and Kindle version are coming soon to Amazon. But if you want the hardback or the paperback, katiebrinkley.com/book.
Go get that book. This was such a delight. I am walking away with, I think, an action plan. So thank you for helping. And again, congrats on the book. I'm really excited about all things Katie Brinkley. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, my friend, thank you so much for hanging out. You can get access to the show notes by going to studiosherpas.com/373. If you're watching this video, if you have questions, if something stood out, let me know. Don't hesitate to say, Ryan, this was really good. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop doing this. I would love to hear from you. You could also just email me directly, Ryan, R-Y-A-N, @studiosherpas.com. We've got some great stuff coming up here. Make sure that you are plugged into our emails. If you're not getting those, the quickest, easiest way right now, if you go to the homepage of studiosherpas.com and scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a place where you can sign up for those, or you can just sign up for our 6-figure filmmaker workshop if you haven't done that at studiosherpas.com/workshop. And don't forget, I want you penciling in the month of October. We're going to be doing the Onward Summit. That is the plan right now. This is our in-person gathering of filmmakers from all over the world, literally. And I think it will be the first week of October. It is going to be hosted at our studio in Detroit-ish, Michigan. So pencil in some dates, pencil in that first week, and I hope to see you. I'll get more details to you. But like I said, if you're on our email list, you'll be able to know the latest and greatest. So that's it, my friend. Here is to you building a better business that really is helpful to not just you and your own goals and dreams for your life, but that would also be super beneficial for the people that you're working with and interacting with along the process. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.